Hi, today on the bench we have a NuTone IMA3303, and it was sent in by Linda in Florida. And Linda's 3303 has an unusual problem that I'm not sure that I've ever actually seen before. And I thought it would be interesting. I'm going to repair it today, at least I hope I'm going to repair it, and I thought it would be interesting to do a quick video about it. She contacted me recently and explained that while the system seems to function correctly, it had this weird, annoying, pulsating sound whenever she would try to use the intercom, either to talk to the front door or throughout the house. And when I was on the phone with her, she was very enthusiastic about trying to get the problem resolved. And we did a little on-the-spot troubleshooting of the master station to see if it was being caused by something else in her house or if it was the intercom itself. So while I had her on the phone, she had a screwdriver in hand and she was ready to go. So I had her do the most fundamental troubleshooting that there always is on any intercom system, which was to open up the master station and unplug the ribbon cables. There are 4 of them on the 3303 from the terminal board to isolate the master from the rest of the house. When you unplug the cables from the terminal board, you're disconnecting it from all of the wiring and all of the remote speakers that run throughout the house. Basically, all you have left at that point is power to power the master station. The wires are connected from the push button to the chime module, and you of course still have the antenna. And after she did the disconnection, I had her do a reset on the master, and turns out the problem was still there. So it was clear that it's a problem with the master station, not being caused by something else in her house. So she decided that she would finish taking it out of the wall, pack it up and send it to me, and here we have it. So what we've got here is, I've sort of got this Frankenstein here a little bit. When you work on a set like this, sometimes it's easier to just take the entire thing apart. Here's her faceplate that everything came out of. And I just have the 3 boards set up on the workbench. The switchboard is back here in the back, and then you have the microcontroller board and the main board here, and hooked up to a bench speaker. This is also from a 3303 that I have, and I've got it powered with an antenna. I didn't plug the chime module in because it's not really relevant to what I'm doing right now. This is an easier way to work on a set like this sometimes, because you don't have to keep putting it back in the faceplate and putting the screws and trying it and taking it apart and back and forth and back and forth. It's just right here, and it all unplugs rather easily. I've got it powered up. You can see the time here. It's 11:41 in the morning, and I've got it hooked up to a backup battery, so if we play around with it, we don't lose our settings. And it's easy to see that the radio works. We'll turn on AM, and that works fine. FM's okay. I have checked it with a terminal board and speakers, and all of the intercoms function correctly and all of that. So it does function correctly, but the problem with it is this. So this is the door talk switch down here. It would be right behind the door talk button on the faceplate. And when we push and release, listen carefully, you get this weird alternating, pulsating tone on all the speakers. And if we do the inside patio talk, push and release, and when she first contacted me about this problem, I was actually rather skeptical, because at this moment, then and now, I couldn't come up with a reason why it would do this. This is very much like, I've heard sounds on intercom systems like this before in people's homes, and lots of times it's because the intercom system wires are run parallel with security system wires because they were installed by the same guy. A lot of modern security systems that have digital keypads with readout information and stuff like that. They're sending digital information back and forth on the lines between the control pad and the alarm panel. And if the intercom wires and the security wires are running the same holes, it'll bleed over into the intercom, and you hear something kind of like that. It's what I call digital chatter on the background sounds of the intercom system, but that's obviously not what we have going on here. At this moment, I'm not exactly sure as to what's causing the problem. To me, you might think it was digital noise, but I'm not actually convinced of that. Since the 3303 has a microcontroller, there is a digital aspect to the design of the system, and it's sending information. There's a display driver that's part of the microcontroller, and that's running the LCD display and things like that. But I've already eliminated that as a potential source because I don't think it really is digital noise. And the quick way to determine that was I took an off-the-shelf microcontroller board that's exactly the same as this one. This is it says IMA3303-01. This is a version 4.0 board, and I have one of these that I know is good, and I substituted my board for her board, and guess what? It still makes the noise. So that tells me that it's very unlikely that it's something being caused on the microcontroller board, and therefore it's not digital noise. It's some other sort of pulsating audio analog noise, and I'm pretty certain that it's going to be on the main board. How do you start a repair like this? Well, it can be difficult. Finding stray noises in circuits can be a challenging thing to do. The way I'm going to approach this, because this is practical intercom repair here today, as much as it would be great to set it all up and break out all my test and measurement equipment and probe around and look and look and look and look, it's not very productive. Those kind of efforts are what I refer to as it becoming a science project, where you're really more interested in finding out why it's doing what it's doing instead of actually repairing it. And since she sent it in to have it not only this problem resolved, but also to have it refurbished so it will be long-lasting into the future. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to address the normal problems in the intercom control circuits and those sort of things, because that's very likely where the problem lies. I'm going to work on it now. Let's see what kind of headway we can make, and I'll be back in a little bit to tell you what I did. Hi, I'm back. Alright, so a little bit of time has passed, and I worked on Linda's IMA3303, and it turned out to be a problem with the intercom control circuits. So I have it powered back up. I have it hooked up just like before. It's being powered by my bench power supply. I have a speaker attached. I also have it connected up to an actual terminal board here and a single speaker and a door speaker because I was testing it. I can show you that the radio plays.
For our friends who speak truth, we need to reach out to them.
No problem with that. And now when we activate the intercom, we have door talk. There's a little feedback because the speakers are so close to each other. I have it turned down. It's not the pulsating sound that we had before. It's just feedback from the speakers. In fact, if I turn that off, it would be less. And so door talk, no problem. Inside patio talk, no problem. Intercom control works. Remote music control works. I have it hooked up to a single speaker here so we can, if we turn that up a little bit, no problem. Door talk. Get ready for the feedback. That's no problem. Ooh, I have an echo. That's cool. Now, if we do the remote radio control, you'll see it switches to IC, and the radio turns on. I can scroll through my two presets and turn the radio off. It turned out to be a relatively simple thing to repair. It reminds me of a saying that we use here at the shop all the time, which is everything fails, but not everything fails in exactly the same way. What that means is you can have an ordinary failure and the results of that failure will be identical in 99 sets out of 100, but that 100th set might have failed slightly differently than all the other 99, and when you look at it, it presents itself in a slightly different way. And that's a real easy trap to fall down, and you end up chasing down the wrong rabbit hole. You know, I could have spent 2 hours measuring and testing and looking for stray signals and all kinds of other things, but most of the time problems are ordinary. And in this case, it was an ordinary problem. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the refurbishment on Linda's set, put it all back together, test it for the last time, and odds are it'll go out back to her in Florida tomorrow. So I hope you found that interesting. If you have a set that's doing this, you can get a hold of us and I'll be able to repair it for you. If you find our videos interesting and helpful, please give them a thumbs up on YouTube. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll get a notification when we post a new video. We try to do at least one video a week on different topics and different models of intercoms and also vintage NuTone doorbells. Let's not forget about those. That's all for today. See you on the next video.